Hey, back for another one. This time I want to talk about one of my favorite manufacturers for drain cleaning machines, General Pipe Cleaners, General Wire. They make a ton of stuff, okay? And here's the thing about General Wire you have to keep in mind when going forward and going into it. They build stuff that works, okay? It's not meant to be pretty. It's not meant to be flashy. It's meant to work, okay? Their stuff's pretty, in my experience, it's pretty doggone reliable and it's very reasonably priced. I'm not going to knock any other brands because there are several other brands we have access to that make excellent products, but they're a little bit sleeker. Maybe they have more specialized features to them. With General Wire, when you buy a tool through them, it's exactly what you need. They're usually not real heavy on bells and whistles. They're just functional and they work. But they make a ton of stuff. They got stuff for the small drain lines like the Super V and the Power V, both of which are really good old school style drain cleaning machines. Uh, the main difference between the two is the Power V is self-feed. It has a self-feed mechanism on it. The Super V does not. That's your primary difference there. And they got a couple other things too, like the little tiny little handy electric and the drain router pH. I've actually sold a few of the drain router pHs. That's a handy little machine. It's pretty similar to a it's very similar to a Power V. It's just its format's different. It's got a little self feed mechanism tied in right here, and you can sit it on a desktop. And you got the kinetic water ram. Kinetic rams are pretty cool. In the right circumstances, that can be a pretty handy thing to have your hands on. They make a whole bunch of machines for medium lines. You got the Mini Router Pro and the Mini Router XP. Those are really popular. The T3 and T4, I don't really see a lot of those move, but those do sell occasionally. And then you step up to the 92 and the XL and the Maxi Router, which is the biggest machine they make as far as drum machines. The 92, that's a fairly common machine. I believe we actually do stock those and try to keep a few of those around. That's usually the biggest machine you're going to sell unless you got a special purpose or special need. And they make a bunch of sectional drum machines too. If you got a guy that's more interested in using a sectional cable. And they make tons of different types of closet augers, urinal augers, little hand powered, like the D25 handy. That's a pretty handy little tool. That's why it's called the handy. Handy. And they make tons of different bits and accessories for these cables. They make all kinds of stuff. Let's see, that's another. All right, so cameras. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that Rigid makes a better camera. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They do. They make it's not much better, but it is better. But for the guy that needs one that's not going to break the bank and needs one that's going to be feature rich at a reasonable price and is going to work, General Wire makes a great camera. Okay, I'm not knocking them at all. They make a fantastic camera, but they're just not as, they're not as high speed. It's just like you're buying a Corvette instead of buying a Ferrari. It's kind of the way to think about that. Nothing wrong with them. I sell tons of them. Okay, it's a fantastic system. And you got the Gen I X Pod, the little remote viewing device, and they got a couple of different models. They got a small model, they got a big model, and they got this big command center. Like you're stepping onto a bridge of a spaceship or something. But it's pretty good. It's pretty robust, and you got this tiny little scope and you got the Prism system, which I believe that is. How does that one work? That's the one you use with your. If you have a tablet or a smartphone, you can integrate with the camera with that. I haven't really messed with that much. Me personally, I think you're better off getting a dedicated command module. But it just depends. And they sell rescue wraps, which that's for repairing your camera if you nick it or damage it. Locators, they make a great locator. And again, talking Corvette versus Ferrari, you compare this to the Rigid. The Gen I Hotspot is a fantastic locator. I've sold maybe 2 or 3 in the past 3 years, and everyone that's ever bought one from me is like, man, that was money well spent. It's a good tool. You don't need to go nuts here. I mean, it doesn't have this. It's not going to be quite as accurate as the Rigid, and it's not going to have quite the features the Rigid does, but it's still an excellent for the money. You can't beat it. It's a really good system. And you got this, and, you know, they make a transmitter for it. So if you got a tracer wire, or if you got like a metal piping you're trying to trace, you can use that. Pretty neat stuff. And they make some. See, I'm not sure on the pronunciation is. I've always pronounced it Sons or Sons. Maybe somebody will correct me one day. But you know, this is a transmitter. Makes it easier to figure out where you're going. Let's see, and there's that again. But yeah, they make a really good a really good locator. And they've got a sonar system, you know, for leak detection. I haven't really had much experience with this particular system, but I hear it's good. It's a very specialized thing, though. Not many people are going to be into this, but just know that you do have a good functional budget option available. I would imagine this is much cheaper than a lot of the other brands. So read about that. And jetters, okay. They make a bunch of different jetters. You know, you got this little mini jetter, this little guy right here. I know a guy that has one of those, and he loves it. It is perfect for kitchen sink lines, okay? And it runs on 115 volt, or you know, standard outlet, 15 amp. That's a neat little tool right there. If I were to buy one, I'd want that one. And they're really not that expensive. You know, and they've got this smaller, more compact model, and they've got gas-powered models that, you know, like that. That's getting a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's a pretty serious one there. And they got trailer pulled one. This is a serious machine. You can do some big main lines with that. The Typhoon, that's a nice one. I know a guy that has one of these. Lives out towards the Marshall area, I believe. He makes a good living with this thing. That's all he does is run this thing all day long. He makes good money with it. It's a great machine. And they keep reels and special nozzles and jetter hoses and all kinds of stuff. And that pretty well sums it up as far as their drain cleaning tools go. And again, if you've got a guy that's looking for a more budget conscious option that still wants something that's going to always work, or at least should always work, General Wire is a great company. They make good stuff. I've always been a fan of their stuff. They kind of have an old school way of the way they build things, like especially their sewer machines. You know, they've been making them the same way for a very long time, and they've been doing it that way for a reason. You know, why reinvent the wheel? If it works and it's reliable, you know, it's fine to do incremental changes over time, but sometimes the old tricks are the best tricks. Another thing too about General Wire, I strongly encourage you to go on their website, and I forget exactly how to find it on there, but they have training available. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that some of the presenters they're kind of goobers about it. They're kind of dry when they present the information, but if you actually pay attention and take notes and learn, you'll be better for it. There's actually some really good information available in that training program they do, and if you complete it and take all the tests, they'll send you a T-shirt, which is bonus stuff's always nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for that. Definitely look into it though. They make some really nice stuff, and if you have any questions or need any advice on how to on anything they make, by all means, just let me know. Thank you.